Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant. This is Burn.
And this is Rye. Hey, hey.
Hi! Oh man, the House of Mouse has bestowed upon us just a plethora of amazing things with their Disney Plus announcement the other day, did they not?
No, absolutely. That was something I did not expect to see. Honestly, there were a lot of things I didn't expect to see this week. Like the Game Awards happened. I didn't really know that. I don't even
Oh
know where to
yeah.
watch those anymore. So,
Yeah, they were streaming like on different channels on YouTube. Big shout out and congrats to Last of Us Part 2, by the way, for taking home 7 awards, including the Game of the Year. I agree with that decision, so hats off to Naughty Dog.
it was well earned by the actors, the developers, everybody. It was really a team effort and they nailed that. So, that is awesome. And what else? There's a lot of like there's the CinemaCon or Cinema Expo that happened this week too. So that's where you saw a snippet of King Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong, where they're both
Hmm.
kind of just roaring, like Godzilla swimming at him. I thought that was kind of cool. And what else? I want to say there was a couple other things. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of right now with everything going on or
Yeah, a lot of
where to
news
sit.
coming out at the end of the year.
I mean, I guess it's, like a silver lining for the next year, a couple years coming out, so that's good. But like you said earlier, House of Mouse, Disney dropped so much content coming in the next 5 years for Disney Plus alone. So if you don't have Disney Plus, now is a good time to get it, strictly just because of how much crap is going to be on there.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Mm, sure.
no, 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 it's fine. I'm just saying, like, yeah, and they are raising the prices to $1, so it's gonna be $7.99 a month, I think. I don't know when it starts,
Yeah.
but
I think they said in May, March, May. What? It's M. M.
I already have my next year paid. So I'm fine with that. But even then,
Oh,
even if they were raising it, I'm fine with it. Strictly
I
just
mean,
because again, there's so much coming.
yeah, and it's still cheaper than all the other streaming services at this point.
I think even though we're gonna get into what shows we were really excited about and some of the reveals, we won't talk about all the reveals because that's
Yeah, that's
stuff
a
you can
lot.
look up. Yeah,
There's
there's
way too
way too
much to
much
get
stuff for
into.
us to cover. So if you haven't looked it up, you could find it anywhere. Just look up Disney Plus reveals or upcoming shows and movies, and you'll definitely see them. But again, it's just even though that Disney has been a very what's the like a niche space almost like it is family friendly. It's for a bit of everybody who's obsessed with pop culture and like specifically in Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel. But even then, if you're not into that stuff, there's so much great content within those three topics of entertainment that
Oh yeah.
you're gonna be satisfied the next few years. It's gonna dwarf Netflix and Hulu, anything original in my opinion.
Yeah, with all these announcements, it's really now we're seeing the true vision of what they had in mind when they were doing the Disney Plus service. I mean, we've had a little taste of it, only so far right now with just The Mandalorian, because that's really the only big exclusive show that they've had. But I mean, that's just been a litmus test for them. And with what we've seen from the first two seasons, I mean, we can expect so much awesome stuff because, like I said, if that's the sample size we're getting, that's pretty awesome if you ask me.
All I know is when I saw some of the reveals for it, I just said, "Hallelujah! I feel him. I feel the Lord down in my spirit." I just think about the goodness of Jesus and all that he has done for me.
Oh my God, is that Medea?
Yes, I'm channeling my inner Medea when I saw some of those reveals, just because I just thought, Hallelujah, thank God for saving me.
Well, no, think Disney.
Might as well be the same thing. Who are we kidding?
Oh my gosh.
Imagine if I was dead serious, but
Oh my God,
um,
I wouldn't be surprised if there are people like that.
oh no, there's definitely. I feel like I know several people who, okay, maybe not to that extent, but they're very huge Disney people. So I'm sure Disney fans were reveling in the news yesterday. Why don't we get into it? So like I said, they basically revealed the major three, cornerstones of Disney, which is the Disney originals with Pixar, Star Wars properties, and Marvel. They're all three of the biggest things in entertainment right now. They're
Oh yeah.
again, I know it's like people are kind of like either over Marvel stuff or Disney's just everywhere, but it's like You can't hate on their stuff. I'm sorry. It's continuously, consistently great, and everyone can enjoy it, whether it be Marvel or Star Wars. Even if you're not into it, you can still check that stuff out, and you'll probably like something about it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it would be one thing if, we were getting all this content and it sucked. The fact of the matter is that a lot of it's been really, really good, with the exception of their live action adaptations, I would say. I'd say that's the only like stain that they've had in the last few years. But everything else, they've been batting almost 100.
Yeah, the live action adaptations, they can't quite find their footing. They had some success with like Cinderella, The Jungle Book, and I mean even though I knock on Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, again, that's still the technical expertise on those movies
Oh yeah,
and the artistic, nature of them both. They're still second to none. So
true.
you can never Disney can never fail at that, in my opinion. But let's get started. Let's talk about some of the Disney things because I know you and I like again, I love Disney stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there wasn't a whole lot in there. I thought, okay, like I'm excited. I'll probably check it out when it comes on. Don't get me wrong,
Oh
but
yeah.
it just wasn't enough to really get me psyched. So let me just say the few things I was excited about. Ray and the Last Dragon is one of their newest original films from Disney. That's gonna be premiere access on the beginning of March, I believe. So kind of like what they did with Mulan, where you probably have to pay $30 or something like that. It'll do the same thing in a few months.
Oh really? That they're going with that model again?
I think so. I'd probably because Ray and the Last Dragon is again one of their few originals they've had lately. So I think that'll. And
That's
then
an
Soul
interesting
Song.
choice because Soul is not going to be that premium, right? It's going to be free.
I believe Soul will be free. Yeah, now that you point that out, that is a little interesting why they're doing that. I don't
Hmm.
know, but maybe because maybe they felt like Soul was too much of a gamble compared to Ray and the Last Dragon, because who doesn't love dragons, with the success of How to Train Your Dragon and, all that stuff. So
Uh-huh.
that could be that. I'm excited for that movie because I remember I saw a teaser of it earlier this year and I thought, okay, I'm excited. So let's see how that comes out.
Yeah, it
Uh,
looked pretty interesting.
yeah, I mean, I don't know the whole plot of it. Essentially, it's just a girl who sets out with her creature, whatever the hell it is, like a giant armadillo bear thing, and they just set out to find the very last dragon in the world. So, pretty much I think how it sounds. And one of the other things I was really excited about was the Zootopia and ooh, there was another show. I think a Zootopia show for sure I was excited about.
Oh wow. I did not see that announcement. That's actually pretty cool. Did they say like it was gonna be with the main characters of the movie, or is it gonna kind of just be about different characters in that Zootopia world?
So far in all honesty, I just saw that Zootopia Plus or something like that is coming to Disney.
Okay.
I didn't really read too much into it, so I apologize for the lack of information, but I think that's
Still,
how
I
it
mean,
sounded.
regardless, it should be pretty good. I mean, I really enjoyed Zootopia, so just to have more stories in that world, whether it's with, Judy Hopps and dang it, what's the Fox's character again?
Oh, I was gonna say Rick Fox, but I know that's not true.
No, it's not Rick
No, I totally forgot. Oh my God, now it's bothered. I just know it was Jason Bateman.
Yeah, I
That's all
just remember. Yeah, I do remember it was Jason Bateman. So, I mean, regardless, like I said, I really enjoyed that world, and just to know that we're gonna get a show with it is actually pretty cool. Like, I was expecting maybe we would get like a movie or something, but they're not. They don't really do a lot of sequels, I've noticed. So, I've been to get like a show. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. I think that it's best they don't do a lot of sequels. I mean, we kind of saw what happened with that with Cars, how it had two more, and they didn't really do that well. Like they did well, but not as well as they
They
should have
weren't as
done.
good as the first one. Yeah,
Yeah, so
especially with the second one. Oh my God, what was that?
I was fine with just the first one, and that's all we needed to do. Then instead, they kept going with, that hodgepodge of films. I'm sorry, Disney, but I'm just saying that wasn't worth it in my opinion. But there was that one. I know they're doing like a Moana show. There was another one I really wanted to see. Oh, so they're also making actually my brother and his friends were talking about, but they're making a Mighty Ducks live action series, which I think is kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Bringing back the hockey team, and it won't be the same without Goldberg, but it'll still be pretty great.
Do you remember that animated show, the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the coolest things growing up.
Yeah, I was just like, man, we haven't like seen that in a while. Like, it would be kind of cool if they like try to do another go at that, like the whole like them actual be like, animated ducks that are the Mighty Ducks. I don't
Oh,
know. That'd
absolutely.
be fun if they like try to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind. Like, there's a lot of things Disney needs to do. One of the biggest things was Gargoyles. I wish they redo that sometime soon. Like,
Hmm.
maybe live action or just new animation. I don't know, but
That'd be cool.
that'd be very dope. And then the last thing, oh, actually, two more things I was excited about Disney, and then I'll let you take over, Burn. Was Buzz Lightyear starring Chris Evans. Now, this is not going to be about the toy Buzz Lightyear. It will actually be about the Space Ranger himself, Buzz Lightyear, a human being. And the first screenshot of it looked fantastic. It looks so like top notch, animation. And with what we've seen from The Mandalorian, how you're basically watching a movie every week, I think we can expect great things with that.
So did they say if that was going to be like a movie coming to theaters, or is it going to be just like a Disney Plus exclusive movie?
From the sounds of it, it may just be Disney Plus. We'll have to wait and see, just because again, these are reveals about what will be coming to Disney Plus at sometime in the
At
near
some point,
future.
yeah.
Yeah, in the next few years. Everything they announce is going to be slowly trickling down over the next 5 years. But
Hmm.
again, there's at least 40, 50 different shows and films coming to either theaters or at home near you. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, something almost like every month, at least for 2021. It seems there's going to be something almost every month.
It's going to be an epic few years, especially if you have Disney Plus. Like, you will never be bored from the sounds of it. And then the
Hmm.
last thing I want to talk about is Encanto, the new film taking place in Colombia. I know all my cousins and my family and I, we got super excited. Like, oh my God, Colombia is getting representation.
Hmm.
Thank God. And, Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's going to be doing the music for it like he did Moana. So
That's pretty awesome.
I'm very excited for that to see, especially after going to visiting Colombia within the last year and get in touch with my cousins, traveling all over that country. A lot of beauty in it, a lot of misunderstanding from America's side. Like, it really was just, this is nothing like we know about it at home. It's totally different. Kind of like when,
Hmm.
I'm sure when some people go to Mexico, it's like, it's not like what it is, what we see or hear at home.
Yeah,
So
it's not just a bunch of cartels all over the place.
it's
Like,
not
no.
Sicario left and right, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. I know I was teasing you earlier before we started the recording, but it is nice to see. This is gonna be Pixar, right? Like, just a Pixar movie.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe
so
it
it's
will be
nice.
Pixar.
It's nice to see Pixar go into more, stories that we haven't seen, and then it's nice to get some representation. I know we got Coco, and as a Mexican, that was really, really awesome to see. So to have, that for the Colombians and their culture, that's pretty awesome. So I really hope they start doing a lot more of that and, exploring a lot of these older cultures through the lens of a Pixar movie.
Yeah, it definitely Disney's doing a good job with that. It is a step of Disney being much more inclusive and much more explorative in other cultures than it has been, just because we have had like, there was a time where there wasn't a Caucasian Disney princess, for a bit. Actually, I remember 30 Rock joked about that. It's like, we haven't had white people are under attack. We haven't had a white princess in years. And one of the guys is like, Mulan, Pocahontas. Oh my God, she's right. Like, he named off a few more, but I thought, damn, that is a good point. She is kind of right. So it's just kind of funny how it was a totally messed up episode. I think it was one of the ones that got taken off on Hulu because they did a little blackface in that one just to
Oh
prove.
no.
Yeah, it was an episode about who has it worse, a white woman or a black guy. And it was like, oh no, you both are just idiots. Stop talking about this. You don't know what you're talking about. So, like I said, that was just the last bit of like Disney news I really got excited about, just because again, I love Disney. I'm not as big of a fan as I am with Marvel and Star Wars, but
Mhm.
it's great. Great news.
Yeah, a lot of that's pretty cool. Again, this is like stuff that I didn't really pay attention to in the announcements, but hearing you talk about it is getting me more excited for those in particular.
Yeah, I mean, again, because they only gave us such small snippets of everything. It wasn't like a full synopsis or plot lines of it all, or at least I haven't read them all. So I
Hmm.
apologize, ladies and gentlemen, if we're not going to be too specific into it. But I encourage you guys, look, check out what they revealed, and listen to us. See if we're gonna get you excited for it. If not, there's there's always other stuff to look forward to. But
Yeah.
anything from Disney you were got you going, or do you want to move on to Star Wars and Marvel? Because I imagine to talk about that stuff too.
Yeah, I'm really itching to talk about the Marvel and Star Wars stuff now.
Okay, Star Wars. Let's get Star Wars done with because like Disney, I wasn't that excited. It's not that I don't love Star Wars. Again, it was just that I think I'm so happy with The Mandalorian and that success. I don't necessarily need more Star Wars, but with everything they dropped yesterday, it's like, oh my God, this is expanding like crazy. Star Wars is about to become like the next Marvel thing, like an expanded universe.
Yeah, it seems like they're really getting all the creative talent together to really make another push for Star Wars. It's sort of like a second surge, after we've had the sequel trilogy and now them, going into the Mandalorian and with all this other stuff that they've just announced. It's like it's their second try at it, it seems like, and it seems like they're really going for it this time.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're with even with the little success they've had with Disney Plus. I mean, not little, but at least with Disney Plus to be a consistent thing this year for them with paying customers and entertainment and reviews, that they're really saying, okay, let's pour more money into this, especially
Hmm.
because with everything going on, I think everybody would rather stream or at least have more availability in streaming than they do in the theaters.
Yeah.
So it's great stuff. I'm so happy with it. Even again, these are all just teasing what's coming. It's not this upcoming year that's all dropping. So we got to be patient, but I think with everything coming out, again, we'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're all gonna get it. We're gonna get it all eventually at some point. So, I mean, the fact that we have something to look forward to is really, really nice.
But I will let you take over the Star Wars stuff. What shows or movies really got you excited from those announcements?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start with the movies first because there's really only just a couple that
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for, and I mean, really excited for. And I mean, them being the Rogue Squadron movie
Mm-hmm.
that they announced, directed by Patty Jenkins, the director who's done the last couple of Wonder Woman movies, and she did Monster with Charlize Theron. I thought that was a pretty awesome announcement, and it's just something I've been wanting for a while. I remember, the Rogue Squadron video game that came out on the GameCube. Man, like just watching my brother play that and playing a little bit of it myself, just getting to, I mean, because we like, X-Wings and, Starfighter action scenes in Star Wars movies, but more often than not, we've seen those like pilots and stuff just as like secondary characters. I mean, we only really pay attention to Luke or Han Solo, and sometimes I just feel like, man, I wish we could really like see more about that aspect of Star Wars, seeing the actual like soldiers' lives, which was cool about like Rogue One because we got a little bit more of that. And just to have a whole movie dedicated to, the fighter pilots, it's just really cool, and I'm really excited for that one, especially since Patty Jenkins is directing it.
She also did Zero Dark 30, right? Or was that somebody different? No, it was Catherine Bigelow.
No, that's Catherine Bigelow, yeah.
Okay, either way. No, yeah, Patty Jenkins is definitely one of the best people to direct that because with Wonder Woman, what we've seen, she's definitely a great character director where she's really going to dive into the story of behind each character and expose what really drives them in their either film or show. And with this movie, it's interesting that they're doing that, especially because, all we hear the pilots is like red leader to gold leader. I copy gold leader, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Very simple, and they're pretty cool. I like to. I think Star Wars. I'll quote the pilots more so than I will like Luke or anybody. So even
Mhm.
though they are kind of like cannon fodder for those movies, they have some of the most quotable things. I think it's kind of funny, but when I heard that, I thought, okay, that sounds actually pretty solid. And I don't know if that one is coming to Disney Plus alone. It will probably be in theaters as well.
Yeah.
It could be a premiere access, and honestly, the whole premiere thing. Before we keep going, I'm not super opposed to it, but I think for $30 when it's like you're already paying, you know, almost $100 a year, it's a little too much. I think they could lower it a little, but
Yeah.
maybe if it keeps doing well, no, never mind. Who am I kidding? If it keeps doing well, they're not changing anything about it. So if it ain't broke, but that's up to debate. Let
Yeah.
keep going. What else did you like?
Yeah, and then I mean, just stay on the Rogue Squadron thing for just a second. It's just what also got me really excited for it too was when Patty Jenkins in that little announcement video that they made, how she was talking about how her dad was an Air Force pilot who lost his life in service, and she's been looking for a story for a long time in Hollywood to sort of I guess commemorate her father and stuff. And the fact that she's going to bring that into like a Star Wars story is a really nice personal touch. And I think with that being in mind, she's going to do the movie a whole lot of justice. So again, that's just another reason to be excited for it.
Yeah, no, I saw that and I thought, okay, she's definitely gonna she's gonna make it. I feel like she's gonna make it so relatable, even though it's a Star Wars sci-fi film. There are
Hmm.
plenty of I wouldn't be surprised if you're gonna start if it does that well. You're gonna see pilots and other service members just be like, shit, she nailed it on the coffin, and it's a Star Wars movie. Like you
Hmm.
expect that kind of stuff for like Lone Survivor or American Sniper, not for something like Disney makes. So I think that's pretty crazy.
Hmm. Exactly. It'll be Top Gun Star Wars, but better.
You could ride my tail booster anytime.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Anyways, what else did you like about the Star Wars panel?
And yeah, so the other movie, just to wrap the movie side of it up, is of course the man, the myth, the legend himself, Taika Waititi's untitled Star Wars movie. Simply for the fact of it being directed by Taika Waititi. There's really no other reason to go into it other than that.
Oh, I hope it's something. I mean, I know Taika's a huge comedic person, so I hope it's something epically dark. Like it'd be
Oh.
kind of cool if he makes like maybe a Sith story or something maybe in the Old Republic. I kind of feel like Star Wars is done with the Old Republic, like just because they recently introduced the High Republic, which is supposed to be an alternate take on the old times.
Hmm.
So which is cool, but at the same time, there's so much rich like storytelling in the Old Republic. Like you have some of the best Sith lords that are just again part of pop culture. Like they kind of associate them to Star Wars, and again, whatever Taika makes, I'm on board with it. He has proven to be not only a great actor, writer, he is a fantastic director, and he's made some of the best episodes on The Mandalorian. So that's enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Just seeing his work on the season finale of The Mandalorian is reason enough to be excited to see what he's got in store for the Star Wars franchise. And again, this show for for a while was the Taika Waititi show. So
It'll still
and
be a shill show for Taika.
yeah, it was unabashedly. I'm proud of it. Okay, I
Unless he
will.
does something terrible, I'll still love him.
But yeah, I mean that is interesting. It would be cool to see him to go into something a little darker. I don't think that's really his style, but I mean, you've seen Jojo Rabbit, right?
Yeah, that was like easily one of my favorite movies of
Yeah,
last
so
year and just one of the best movies you'll ever see. I know he got a
yeah,
lot of flack for it just because it's like he was being a little insensitive to World War II and the whole Nazism of the time. And it's like, no, he kind of pointed it out really well. It was
yeah.
a well-loved movie. Like I gave that one 10 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, but I mean, just that movie showed that he could get a little serious and he could get a little heavy at times. So yeah, I like if that's what if he would like go into that, I would be really interested to see him tackle something a little bit more on the darker side, like you said.
Yeah, no, that like I said, just I didn't really hear about that. So when you say it's unknown, I'm just thinking I wouldn't mind seeing him do a Sith movie or something just tragic like that. Like, especially with that episode of Mandalorian this season where Ahsoka said, I've seen, he's attached to you. I've seen what training does of a Jedi combined with that attachment. It'll lead to hate, and I don't want to do that. Like, she's basically just saying, like it'll destroy you. Grogu will kill you or destroy you because he loves you. So it's just one of those moments in that show, like in general, that even though this is like it's family fun, it's for everybody. It's still got moments that are gonna cut you deep.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it. I mean, were there any? any of the like other movies? I don't think there were any like other movie announcements. Were there in terms of Star Wars stuff?
Not that I know of, but I will say the few things I'm excited about or the Bad Batch animated show, just because of this last season
Hmm.
of Clone Wars. I'm so glad we're finally got a taste of what their show will be like. Obi-Wan Kenobi bringing back Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. That'll be nice to see another young Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the last one I was really excited for and happy with is Ahsoka, also helmed by the amazing leaders Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who are doing Mandalorian right now. So that'll do it for me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I already love the Mandalorian so much, and I love Ahsoka as a character, and especially Dawson's take on the character. Just she really nailed the live action Ahsoka. So, I think I said it when we talked about the episode. I want a spin off. I want a show. So the fact that they announced it is, I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you.
And even with that show, it could be more characters from not only the Clone Wars and Rebels, but all of Star Wars lore. If anything,
Oh yeah.
she is like a Jedi character, quote unquote. She can. There's so much more avenues that it could take, and much more
Hmm.
of a different storyline. So yeah, I'm all excited for it. I got to rewatch that episode again just because it was so well done, and she does such a great job. Like I want Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka as a hot toy. I need it now. Please
Oh
make
yeah.
it.
I do need that as well. And
Tom Collin, get to work.
do it. Make it now. I want to pre-order that thing. No, but yeah, I think in the other one that you were talking about, I'm super excited for. Yeah, Obi-Wan. I mean, my favorite Star Wars character. I've been wanting to see Ewan McGregor return to the role in any form. And maybe as like a just Obi-Wan in a movie. As a side character. Or I mean, my dream was to him get like his own solo movie, but the fact that he's getting a series is probably even better, and I'm super excited for that one.
Yeah, and it's gonna be just another deep dive into Obi-Wan in the years between the end of the Clone Wars to the journey with Luke and what happened in the original trilogy. And maybe we'll finally see the live action duel of Darth Maul and Obi-Wan like we did in Rebels, which I still
Yeah.
have not gotten to the episode. I already seen it, what happens, but I want to see that done live action too, just especially after seeing Darth Maul and Solo like more aged with his robot legs and stuff. I
Hmm.
thought, can we see this fight happen like now? Just because even though it was very quick in the show, you can change it up for live action, make it a little bit more, or you could make it just as quick and just as impactful. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
fight was super dope.
Hayden Christensen though as Darth Vader is interesting. I wonder how they'll do that. Just because if he starts screaming no again in that show, I will lose respect for it.
And I mean, okay, let me just say that yeah, Hayden Christensen with the prequels, he was an easy target, and and I do have a lot of fun picking on him and making fun of his like performance and stuff. But really, at the end of the day, he's just an actor, playing a role, and all those creative decisions were definitely George Lucas.
Oh yeah.
It was his writing, it was his directing, and apparently all his directing was make it faster. so so I won't fall to Hayden Christensen, and hopefully with him being back as Darth Vader and seeing him in the show, I'm hoping we get the Boba effect where we'll see. Boba really. I mean, everybody loved him as a character, but he did kind of suck in the movie, the Return of the Jedi, and with him being in the Mandalorian season 2, we've seen his character become something awesome. So I really hope that in the show it'll be a sort of another little redemption for Hayden Christensen in particular.
I'm just curious, like, will he be donning the suit and stuff? Will it be I like cause just because again, Darth Vader has the voice modulator and
Hmm.
stuff. So I'm surprised they brought him back. Maybe there'll be some flashbacks here and there, or maybe Obi-Wan will reach out to his Force ghost because technically he's a Sith. Anakin is dead, so maybe there'll be that kind of thing. I don't know, but it's nice to bring him back. Like I know Ewan in a quote. I'm being a paraphrase here. He's just like, it's so nice to work with Hayden again. Like he is happy about that, and that's that's always nice. Hayden Christensen isn't a terrible actor. He just had a couple flops in movies, but it's like honestly, Robert Pattinson had Twilight. Yes, it did financially well, but they are some garbage films. And now he's going to be Batman. Just giving him a few years, giving him some more films to work with, and we're seeing that talent rise. So I think with Hayden Christensen, if this show does well, like Mandalorian has, I have faith that we're going to see Hayden Christensen redeemed just like Boba was. And we're going to talk about that in another episode, but man, Boba Fett post Sarlacc pit and Return of the Jedi 10 times better. I
Hmm.
take back everything bad I've said about him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that I agree with you, and yeah, like I said, I really hope that Hayden Christensen gets that treatment in the show, and the fact that that Deborah Chow, one of the directors from this first season of The Mandalorian, is the one that's going to be directing the show. That just gives me even more confidence too, because a lot of her episodes, her two episodes were some of my favorite of that season. So I'm really just another reason to be super excited for the Obi-Wan series.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, the bat it would just be those are my few things. Was there anything else Star Wars you wanted to discuss, or are you ready to move on to the big cheese?
I mean, not discuss like super in depth, but I'll briefly mention that I'm like a little bit excited for that Lando show, just because I really like Donald Glover as the young Lando. So he was my favorite part of the Solo movie, and I really wanted to see more of him. So the fact that he's getting a show, I'm all for it. I like that.
I will say now that we're talking about like the whole Solo and Lando and stuff, I wouldn't mind if they did a bounty hunter show. Like take the aesthetic from Solo, but make it about the bounty hunters of that era.
Hmm.
What's the lizard name is Bosk, right?
Yeah, Bosk.
Like it'd be nice to see Bosk, Dengar, all those guys in their own show, maybe like having their own adventures.
That'd
And
be
they
cool.
would, and it'd be great if after this last couple episodes of Boba Fett Mandalorian, I think him and Bo-Katan should get their own shows or at least appear in more stuff. Just because, again, like after we've seen them in action, it's like I'm surprised you guys didn't drop a show. I'm sure they're developing it or figuring out how they could write him in more stuff. So time will tell.
Yeah, it will definitely.
But let's get down. Drum roll, please. Marvel. Wow. Again, just another bunch of epic stuff. Not only did we get new fresh trailers for Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision, which I am still psyched for, and they're
Hmm.
coming out next month and in March, which I can't wait for those months already. 2021 can't come fast enough. And you know what? Again, just the announcements. It didn't really hit me that hard yesterday, but the more I'm thinking about them, I'm so excited for it. Like they're really gonna use Disney Plus to explore more of the Marvel universe, more so than the films already have. With the first 10 plus years of event of the Marvel films covering the Infinity Saga, one of the biggest storylines in Marvel, with these shows, they can cover so much more, and
Hmm.
they're going to. You know what? I'm gonna let you take this one again, Burn. What before my excitement consumes me? Please, what did you enjoy about Marvel? What are you looking forward to? What got you psyched out of your mind?
Awesome. All right. So I mean, I'm already excited for WandaVision. I've been excited for it since the trailer release. I thought it just looks super interesting and very different from everything we've seen in Marvel so far. So, I mean, the second trailer that they released in this presentation, just furthered that excitement. I can't wait for that show to come out, and the fact that it's coming out like you said in January. I can't come soon enough because I really want to see what that show is. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought its trailer was fine. It was cool. I mean, I'm still excited for the show, but there wasn't anything there that made me more excited. So that there's really nothing much for me to say in terms of that show. But the one trailer that got me super excited, and back when they announced these shows, this was bottom of my list in terms of what I would be looking forward to. I didn't even want the show, and I was like, okay, why are you gonna make that show? Like, it sounds like really dumb. The Loki trailer blew my mind, and I did not expect that.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen the new WandaVision trailer or Loki. WandaVision, I was already psyched for after the last one. I got super interested in it just because, again, we're gonna explore more of Wanda and how she essentially will become another villain in Marvel because her character's always kind of dipped her toes in being an Avenger and then also being a villain strictly just because she's purely emotional. You know, she loves so much that it drives her mad. And Falcon and Winter Soldier, I kind of agree with you. The trailer wasn't the best thing, but I looked at it more as that, my God, again, much more that same level cinematic action like that you're seeing like Marvel films, we're gonna get in a TV show. Because Mandalorian
Yeah,
has been impressive, but again, we're gonna see Marvel action on at home, like
right.
consistently, or at least for that. So and I love Falcon and Winter Soldier's look and their little banter at the end where Falcon's kind of messing with him and Bucky's just like, I can't stand you. Like, I hate you. So it's kind of, we can see that, buddy action slash brotherly camaraderie come at each other a little bit. So
Hmm.
that's gonna be pretty funny. But Loki, again, I haven't seen the trailer, so don't spoil it for me, but I'm sure I'll
Oh,
be
dude.
just excited. But it definitely sounds like Loki's gonna be having his own little Elseworld stories with his stuff, right?
Yeah, to not, oh man, I don't really know what you would consider a spoiler for, for the trailers. But I guess I just won't describe it in detail, but just the fact that, after the events of Endgame, we kind of have an idea of what, Loki's going to be because he's alive in that universe that, the Avengers messed up in. And it like can I don't know how much I can really say to not spoil it for you because I don't know what you would consider a spoiler, but regardless, that the show looks just as interesting to me as WandaVision simply for the fact that it looks way super weird. And I'm all here, and I'm all, like I said in our previous episode, I'm here for Marvel just getting crazy with it, and it looks like that's what they're doing with the Loki show. So, and Tom Hiddleston, he's always really fun to watch as Loki. So to have more of his performance in particular is going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, this come from me, someone who, when the show was initially announced, couldn't care less about that. I was like, okay, a Loki show, whatever. Now it's like one of my most anticipated.
For sure. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that trailer so we can talk about that more. But I will say the other thing that I was somewhat interested in but didn't really give much thought, not until I saw a trailer, was the What If series. And
Yeah.
and I know it's mostly animated, but again, it's another take on those Elseworld stories, those alternate universes of what could happen. Some of it seems pretty original. Others that they definitely seem like they'll be taking from previous comics. Like there was a scene where Captain America is like a zombie throwing his shield at Bucky, and I thought, oh, is that going to be a take on Marvel zombies? Like that'll be cool.
That would be cool.
And Black Panther became Star Lord, and Peggy Carter becoming Captain America or Captain England, whatever you want to call it. I think that was one of the most interesting ones, and I'm looking forward to that just because it would be great to see Haley Atwell become Captain England America, whatever you want to call her, in live action. But this will be close enough. So it's again. I know I was in our private conversations. I've harped on the whole 3D animation with like Netflix and like Ultraman and some of those other shows. Like it's not. It doesn't look that great, or it's a trying to be groundbreaking, but it isn't. With this What If series, I thought, okay, this is something I could probably get behind. It looks decent. Like, I'm interested. Let's see what this is going to be like.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The animation and like that whole cell shading look really works for the comic book aspect of it. I know that we said that we were complaining about the 3D animation, but for me that was only within the anime, you know, uh,
Yeah,
art style.
Japanese anime. Yeah,
Yeah, it just doesn't, for me. It doesn't work. I mean, sometimes it could be used well, but when the entire show is that style of 3D animation, it's not my favorite. I prefer just the 2D animation, as as do you. But for something like this, where it's a different type of more like a Western art style, very comic booky, and especially with the cell shading look, it works. It works for me, and it looked pretty interesting. And yeah, I'm excited for that one as well.
Yeah. So those are the ones that we definitely got trailers for sure.
Yeah,
Now, before we finish this off, can I rattle off the shows that really got me excited for the next few years?
yeah, you can because they're probably the same as mine.
Well, not only did we get confirmation for Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, in which Chadwick Boseman will not get recast. Thank you.
hmm
Uh, and we got to, and again, some of the other shows that really got me excited. Oh, also, Fantastic Four is coming. So that's another new
Yeah.
movie. So we'll get to, that'll be interesting to see just because Fantastic Four has, I think, are the superhero movies that have had the rockiest journey. Nothing good. Or
Fourth, yeah, fourth time's the charm with this one.
seriously, just because I mean, the only good thing about the older movies was the Silver Surfer one. That was pretty cool, even though Galactus was a giant cloud slug thing. But yeah, the Silver Surfer was dope. Anyways,
hmm
we got confirmations of Moon Knight coming. Guardians of the Galaxy is getting their own holiday special. Hawkeye. We have been seeing photos online, but with Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, which I have a huge crush on Haley Steinfeld, so that's awesome. And she
Yeah,
looks
she's
great as
great.
Kate Bishop. Secret Invasion is coming. That's another big storyline in Marvel. So I can't
hmm
wait to see what that movie will be like. And the three shows I'm super excited for, besides Hawkeye and Moon Knight, are going to be Ironheart, She-Hulk, and Armor Wars. Those are the
Oh, okay.
biggest few things that got me psyched out of my mind to hear.
Nice. Definitely She-Hulk for me, and along with the Hawkeye show and Moon Knight. Those are the ones I'm particularly excited for.
Yeah, just again, the Armor Wars got me excited because I love Iron Man and I loved War Machine. He was my favorite part of Iron Man 2, and I loved I've loved his look ever in every movie he's been in. So, and that plot supposedly is going to be where Don Cheadle is bringing back oh my God, War Machine, and supposedly Tony's armor will fall into the wrong hands, so he's gonna be helping out with that. But I think the show, besides She-Hulk, which is great because we're bringing back Abomination, which Tim Roth played in the Edward
hmm
Norton film in 2010 or 2009, is just Ironheart. She's been one of my favorite characters ever since she was created about 5, 6 years ago. In which it's a character known as Riri Williams, and she is essentially a child prodigy, just born genius, going to MIT at the age of like 13 or 14, maybe younger, just pure genius, where she created an Iron Man suit out of parts from Iron Man's wrecks, like his wreckage. She pieced it all together, and it looked like a mini War Machine armor in the comics. And then she gets her own advanced suit. She actually ends up helping create the most advanced suit in the world. Even makes Iron Man look a little obsolete. So I'm curious.
Oh
I
wow.
don't remember who they casted for that. I think it's another unknown actress, but I am so excited because she's essentially the future of Iron Man, storyline, and I wouldn't mind seeing her and Brie Larson go at it in the Civil War 2 story.
Oh.
Even though that graphic novel did not do that well, I would still love to see that come back. Just because the last Civil War is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, Dove for sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of the Ironheart Riri Williams character, she's a fairly new character and one, admittedly, I don't really know too much about. But the concept of her sounds super interesting, and I know that she hasn't had much success in the comics, and I think this just mainly has to do with them not being, written that well. But the fact that Kevin Feige likes that character enough to bring it, into the live action, hopefully it'll bring a whole new popularity to the character and bring a lot more fans because, everything that he's touched has really, 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 really taken off. I mean, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew about them, and now they're some of like a lot of people's favorite characters. So to hopefully Riri Williams gets that treatment for the audience and stuff, and maybe she can have a life of her own, in these live action shows. and the MCU that it didn't seem like she did really get in the comic books.
No, I'm definitely excited to see what Disney Plus will bring because all these series, it's kind of crazy that series are now becoming more valuable and entertaining than movies are. Not to say that movies are bad or like they're, but it's so hard to cram like great character exploration into
Hmm.
2 hours or 3 hours. Not everyone can do a 3 hour movie, which I totally could, especially if it's that good. But
Hmm.
with these shows, it's going to give Disney a much better opportunity at exploring the Marvel world, Marvel universe as a whole, and I'm sure they'll tie into the films, which I know they didn't necessarily do with the Netflix series, nor they did with Agents of Shield, but I think this is their redemption for that. They're going to start unifying everything, and again, Charlie Cox may come back for that Spider-Man movie. So if he that does come back, then maybe they'll bring back more of the other Netflix heroes, like Punisher, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones.
Yeah, and just the fact that that She-Hulk is coming to live action and being played by Tatiana Maslany, who's a fantastic actress. But just hearing Kevin Feige talk about because she's a superhero, a lawyer that handles superhero cases, we're gonna see a lot of superheroes and stuff from that world. So I think that definitely lends itself to having Matt Murdock in particular come back. Just as for me as as a super Daredevil fan, that makes me even more excited for the She-Hulk show because I mean, just if he were to pop up, and like during a court case or something, that'd be super fun. I would
Or
be
even
really here for that.
her and Matt Murdock go at it again in the courtroom a little bit. I think
Yeah,
that'd be an interesting episode. Just
definitely.
Matt Murdock could be maybe defending a shady character or maybe an anti-hero, and she'll be defending like a superhero or a victim or something like that. And it's like, objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry if we have an advanced person here. It's like, you're advanced too, man. You just don't tell everybody about it.
Uh,
Like, don't be a hypocrite, Matt. So, oh man, like I said, that'll do it for me for all that. But I hate to. I was thinking about this as we were talking about it. If only DC got this treatment from Warner Brothers.
I mean, it seems like they're on their way towards that with the new stuff with HBO Max and with what we're seeing with the movie announcements and stuff from what was it DC Fandom just this past summer. So I mean,
You're
I think
right,
I think
but
we're definitely going to see it. It's just I mean, obviously Marvel's just been ahead of the game the entire time, so they them being the first to do this is it's unsurprising to me, and not to say that DC is behind in terms of that aspect. They've definitely had a larger TV presence, in the last few years with their CW shows and with a lot of their shows being on DC Universe with Titans and oh man, what's the name of the other
Doom
show?
Patrol.
Doom Patrol, exactly. Yeah, with them talking about other shows coming to HBO Max with like The Question and all that stuff. And I mean, we got the Watchmen show on HBO, so I think DC's doing fine. They're just we just got to get more at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I mean, yeah, Titans and Doom Patrol have been great, and you're right, they have been around for years with Adam West
And
Batman,
that's not counting the
Smallville.
animated shows.
No, not neither of that either. It's just like I said, I guess you're right too. Marvel has been ahead of the game with, they're the first ones to really nail down the cinematic universe for heroes,
Hmm.
and DC is getting their foot more in the door with that. I know they're doing more Elseworld stuff, and I wish maybe they should do more of that on HBO Max. I know we're getting the Green Lantern show and, like you said, The Question and some other stuff. It's just I wish they did more properties like that for like the Bat family and
Right.
just other aspects of that. Again, we're seeing that in Titans and even Batwoman, which I haven't really seen just because I'm kind of over the CW style shows like that, like Green Arrow, Flash. They just kind of
Yeah.
got too repetitive and melodramatic for me. But Titans and Doom Patrol are definitely fantastic shows for DC.
Yeah.
So
Almost done with season one of Titans, so I've been enjoying it so far.
yeah, it's season two is better. Just wait for it. Trust me.
Nice.
Um, but like I said, that'll do it for me. So much craziness out of this last week in news, specifically, especially Disney. I just can't contain my excitement for it. It's gonna. I have to be patient, but it's gonna be an epic few years in entertainment, especially if you're a Disney Plus owner. Which, if you haven't gotten it, now is the time to do so before they maybe jack up the prices more. Because
True.
if these shows do well within the next few months, 6 months, it's like they can increase it again if they want to, and I would keep paying it. I am a terrible person saying that, but I will keep paying it for entertainment.
Yeah, I mean it's all the stuff I love, so of course I'm gonna pay the money to watch it and
And it's
support the creators.
and it's consistently good. Like not Netflix nor Hulu can say that about all their stuff.
True. Yeah, Netflix is hit or miss. It
And they're
seems like they
canceling
just
stuff
put
left
money
and
in
right.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh man, but that'll do it for me, Burn. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys got excited for this stuff as much as we did, and do. We do. Do.
Doo-doo.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, give us a like, a share. Let us know what you like in the comments about this massive Disney reveal. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We're always curious as well. But anything else you want to add, Burn?
Nothing, man. Just I mean, all this announcements and such just get me even more excited for my nerdiness in the future. So it will not be a boring time in 2021. It seems like, and 5 years from now.
Oh man, 5 years is gonna be interesting. Another 5 years of Disney just dominating the game, especially if they can keep nailing all these shows, their cinematic quality and storytelling. It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, as long as they keep Kevin Feige and Dave Filoni and and John
John
Favreau
Favreau.
happy, keep those guys happy, and you're gonna get some good content for the future.
I think I'm missing a couple zeros, Mr. Feige. And it's like, oh, don't worry, John. I'm missing a zero too, but we're gonna get those. Trust me. Just oh man, that'd be my conversation in the studio. Just I don't think this check or this number works for me. Let's juice it up a little. How about that?
This seems kind of light.
What what would Jesus do?
Oh my God.
What would Darth Vader
You altered
do?
the deal.
All right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the next episode, and stay bodacious. Keep on ranting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Peace out, my brother.
Adios, man.